Hello, my name is Tony Sagami. Welcome to this special presentation of the Weiss Ratings Saving America Summit. In the next few minutes, I will reveal a unique wave of profit opportunities that emerged in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic. Revolutionary changes that are beginning to attract a flood of money and are pulling America back from the brink of economic disaster. This isn't the first time this has happened. In fact, we saw similar profit opportunities after every major crisis of the 21st century. And we issued a series of buy signals on select stocks each time. We call them Saving America stocks. If you had bought just one of those Saving America stocks, you'd be looking at a total return of 1,684% right now, enough to turn every $10,000 invested into over $178,000. You're probably thinking that was some small cap startup that no one ever heard of. No. It was actually Thermo Fisher Scientific, one of the largest IT healthcare companies in the world and a leader in COVID-19 testing. Or maybe you think I cherry-picked our biggest winner. Not even close. Investors who acted on our buy signal for that stock could have a return of over 22,185% today. That's enough to turn $10,000 into $2.2 million, all in a single trade. I'll name that miracle stock for you in just a moment, and I'll show you how these gains are small in comparison to the potential fortunes you can make in the wake of this crisis. But first, if you're like me, you're skeptical of guys who brag about giant profits. So let me tell you the hard evidence right here now. If you had acted on our buy signals on Saving America stocks, right now you'd be sitting on returns of 771% on Bio-Rad Laboratories, a leader in COVID-19 vaccine research, 1,030% on CGI, a leading IT consulting company, 1,391% on Global Payments, a major player behind the boom in online shopping, 1,441% on Amphenol, which makes the hardware that keeps the entire internet connected, 1,684% on Thermo Fisher Scientific, the healthcare giant I mentioned a moment ago, 2,209% on Mettler Toledo International, the world's #1 health tech company, 2,265% on Cognex Corporation, 2,622% on Manhattan Associates, 2,939% on Fair Isaac Corporation, 3,312% on Ansys. That's 34 times your money, enough to turn $10,000 into more than $341,000. 3,434% on Tyler Technologies, or 35 times your money. Your $10,000 would be worth more than $353,000 today. 5,900% on IEH, or 60 times your money, turning every $10,000 invested into an even 600 grand. I could go on and on. In fact, we issued 39 Saving America buy signals that were at least 10 baggers that could have made you a minimum of 10 times your money. And here's our biggest winner of all, the one I said I'd name for you. It's Apple, which has given us a whopping return of 22,185%. Yeah, you heard that right, Apple. Just with our single buy signal on Apple, you could have made 223 times your money, enough to turn every $10,000 into over $2.2 million today. And guess what? After we issued the initial buy signal on each of these stocks, we never, not once, issued a sell signal. So if you followed our signals faithfully, you'd be holding every single one of these stocks till this day. Now, in many cases, we did give new buy signals along the way, but even if you had just invested $1,000 per company in our first batch of Saving America buy signals, $25,000 in all, and even if you never added another penny more, you'd have a total of $592,387. If you started with $10,000 in each, a portfolio of $250,000, you'd have nearly $6 million today. And if you started with $20,000 in each, you'd have nearly $12 million. You want the exact figure? Okay, here it is. $11,847,733. Pretty nice number, eh? That includes price appreciation and dividends before taxes and broker commissions. And it was all possible without in and out trading, with no leverage, no options, no futures, no fancy maneuvers. All based on Saving America buy signals we issued in the wake of a national crisis. What's our secret? Nah, no secret at all. It's really very transparent. We are America's leading provider of independent ratings, the Weiss ratings, and we know that a national crisis spurs national action. The government pours money into solutions, and soon thereafter, the investment money comes in. That's what happened when our nation was attacked by foreign powers. That's what happened when it was attacked by terrorists. And that's what's happening now as it's attacked by an invisible virus. Most important, we are not Wall Street. We are very, very different. Those Wall Street guys just have one mantra: buy, buy, buy. For them, sell is a four-letter word. It's taboo. Not for us. In fact, before we issued the buy signals on those 25 stellar stocks that could have turned 500,000 into nearly 12 million, we also issued get the hell out warnings on 25 sickly stocks that soon crashed and burned. But here's the truly big news. Now we're getting ready to do it all over again with a whole new portfolio of Saving America investments. And I'll show you precisely how in just a moment. Plus, at the end of this presentation, I'll show you how you can instantly download our new portfolio with a complete list of the investments. I'm talking about investments with the same potential as Thermo Fisher's 17-bagger or Apple's 223-fold gains that investors could have made based on each of our buy signals. But first, let me explain why those huge gains are possible. You see, whenever the U.S. has faced a life-threatening existential crisis in the past, our leaders and our people have always responded the same way, with a national mobilization of our vast economic power and creativity. New revolutionary technologies emerged. Entire industries arose from the crisis that never existed before. In the wake of every national crisis, we reinvented and rebuilt the entire U.S. economy. During the Great Depression, America undertook some of the greatest engineering marvels in history. We built the massive Grand Coulee Dam in Washington State. We erected the famous Golden Gate Bridge from San Francisco to Marin County. And soon after World War II, the country embarked on the mass production of automobiles and homes. These stimulated the post-war economy and provided millions of jobs for both men and women. Following the 9/11 attack on the World Trade Center, the online shopping revolution created literally thousands of new businesses and new industries. Companies such as Amazon developed state-of-the-art automation technologies to move billions of packages in a month. And in the wake of the 2008-09 debt crisis, the development of wireless video created new industries and technologies that also transformed our everyday lives. By letting people communicate with live video phones, watch films anywhere, and even build huge audiences by creating their own videos. Each of these brand new industries created rare opportunities for investors to make 10, 20, or even 200 times their money, simply by investing small amounts in their one or two companies that were dominant in each. And today, as Yogi Berra used to say, it's deja vu all over again. History is repeating itself right now, as we speak. America is once again in the midst of a rare national emergency. The entire country is again mobilizing its vast resources to meet a life-threatening challenge. What exactly are those vast resources? America's vast financial resources quickly fund breakthrough technologies and create brand new industries virtually overnight. America's unparalleled creativity in literally dozens of fields, from software to healthcare, creates new businesses and employment opportunities that never existed before. America's overwhelming engineering power converts these creative ideas into mass production, much like Chevrolet, Ford, Plymouth, and other automakers who produced an estimated 58 million cars in the 1950s alone. Now, once again, we face a grave national emergency. We have not seen a mobilization of America's resources on this scale since World War II. The U.S. government is spending $6.6 trillion on COVID-19 relief efforts in just 1 year. That's 7 times more than we spent on the entire New Deal programs in 10 years during the Great Depression. Even after adjusting for inflation, it's 45 times more than the government spent on the Marshall Plan after World War II, rebuilding all of Europe ravaged by war. It's 178 times more than what the Pentagon spent on the Manhattan Project to develop the first atomic bomb. And it's 9,100 times more than the cost of the Pathfinder rover mission to Mars. This historic national mobilization of U.S. economic firepower is creating high-tech industries that are changing the world in ways we could have never imagined even just a few months ago. It's laying the groundwork for the post-COVID transformation of our entire economy. And the trillions being spent on re-engineering the American economy are already making investors vast fortunes even as we speak right now. It's on its way to saving America, and it's creating a unique list of Saving America companies. For example, one of the Saving America companies I'll tell you about today is already up a whopping 348% so far, and it's just getting started. That more than quadruples your money, enough to turn every $5,000 into $22,400. I know many companies that don't make gains like that in decades, and yet this one company has done it in a matter of a few months. And if you think a second wave of the pandemic will slow it down, think again. This company's growth is not only isolated from the negative impact of the pandemic, it actually benefits from the pandemic. Ditto for most of the companies I'm going to tell you about today. Another new Saving America company that I'll name for you in this presentation has seen its shares skyrocket from $19.14 at the end of 2019 to $70.50 a share today. That's a gain of 268% in less than a year. A third Saving America company I'll name in a moment has shot up from $38.37 a share back in March to $153 today. That's another gain of 296% in just months. And a fourth company, a leader in a field that didn't even exist 6 months ago, has shot up from $5.02 a share at the end of 2019 to $114 today. That's a gain of 2,170%, or more than 22 times your money. Gains like that are enough to turn a $5,000 flyer into $113,500 in just months. Now let me stress one thing. There is absolutely nothing theoretical or pie in the sky about these special rare opportunities I'm talking about. These profit opportunities are real, and they're happening right now as we speak, despite the continuing threat of COVID-19, despite any further shutdowns of some sectors of the economy, despite the continuing political and social chaos we see in our cities and towns, and uncertainty about the future, and despite the fact that many of America's old traditional companies are falling by the wayside. In fact, an existential crisis like this one, the old-fashioned low-tech losers have to fall by the wayside to make room for these new high-tech winners. That's exactly how it is, how it always happened in the past, and how it's happening again today. Investors dump the old and buy the new. Capital flows in torrents from the industries that are dead or dying to those that are injecting new life into the economy. This transformation didn't begin yesterday. In fact, the first phase of this transformation actually started in the 1990s with the growth of the internet. I know because I was part of it. I started a software company called Monocle Analytics that was dedicated to helping investors profit from that transformation. Then in the late 1990s, I joined Dr. Martin Weiss, founder of Weiss Ratings. We spent over $3 million on data costs alone, and we created the best performing stock ratings in America. Our ratings are 100% independent, objective, and free of any conflict of interest. That's why Esquire wrote, Weiss is the only one who rates companies with no conflicts of interest. And why Barron's wrote, Weiss Ratings is the leader in identifying vulnerable companies. And it's also why the Wall Street Journal reported that among all the major Wall Street firms and research organizations, Weiss Ratings was ranked #1 in performance. And these ratings are the same ratings that could help you do it again. Save America transformation is going to pick up steam. And I know these are pretty tall claims, and I assume you're looking for proof. Check out this table printed in the Wall Street Journal report I mentioned a moment ago. You could also ask Thomson Financial. They're one of the most respected data and research operations in the world, and they twice named me the Portfolio Manager of the Year. Or refer to Barron's, Kiplinger's, Smart Money, Business Week, the New York Times, the Washington Post, Investors Business Daily, or Bloomberg. I've been quoted there lots of times. I'm not telling you this to brag. I'm telling you this to impress upon you the importance of what I'm about to say next. With our ratings, I identify new industries that will replace the old, leave them behind in the dust, and save America. I call these new industries disruptors. These are the industries that change the world as we know it. the way e-commerce changed the world in the 2000s, the way smartphones changed the world in the 2010s. And then identify the 2 or 3 most innovative, most well-capitalized, most rapidly growing companies in each industry. I call them dominators. The dominators of the company that virtually take over the entire industry. Like the way Google took over online search and advertising. Like the way Apple took over the smartphone market. Like the way Facebook dominates social media. And Netflix dominates streaming entertainment. Our ratings allow us to accurately identify both the disruptors and the dominators. And if you can do that, the profits you can make will be life-changing. Like the 10,000 you could have transformed into 2.2 million with just one of our buy signals. With just one initial investment and no in and out trading, no leverage, no options, fancy strategies. For example, I was among the very few analysts to identify the industry that was about to rise from the rubble of the dot-com bust and truly transform the US economy. I'm talking about none other than the online shopping revolution. You know, we take it for granted today, but when it first began, online shopping was a true business revolution. In essence, it was mail order on steroids, delivering real physical products to households all over the world with a click of a button. Online shopping was a giant disruptor, and it gave rise to one giant dominator, Amazon.com. And it created an infrastructure for other giants like eBay, Overstock, Urban Outfitters. Today, it's not just a billion-dollar industry, not just a $100 billion industry, it's a whopping $3.7 trillion industry. That's right, it's worth nearly $4 trillion. For most investors, investing in online shopping stocks was a shot in the dark. But we recommended them with no holds barred. Look at Overstock. When we issued a buy rating on Overstock shares, they sold for $20.32 a share. Today they go for $53.58. That's a 263% return right there. And eBay put that performance to shame. On the day of our first buy signal on eBay, it sold for about $12.23 a share. If you bought it and forgot about it, you would have made 1,027% or 10 times your money. Or consider Urban Outfitters. It's sold for only $2.30 a share back in 2003. Today it's $23. Another huge winner. And then, of course, there's the biggest dominator of all, Amazon.com. People forget, but many investors were badly burned by Amazon during the tech wreck of the early 2000s when it was named Amazon.bomb. We warned people to stay the heck away from Amazon before the dot-com wipeout. Sure enough, Amazon shares plummeted from a high of 106 to just $50. And soon thereafter, we were among the very first to issue a buy rating. I knew online shopping was a new industry that was going to utterly transform the global economy. On the day that we said buy, you could have bought Amazon for $54.20 a share. If you bought 400 shares, it would have cost you about $21,600. Today, each share of Amazon is worth $3,346. That's right, $3,336. And your 400 shares, they're worth a nice $1.3 million. That's a 6,096% return, or 61 times your money. That just shows you, again, the power of investing in brand new disruptive technologies and in the companies that dominate them. Dominator number 2, Netflix. Another new industry that helped rebuild the U.S. economy after a nationwide disaster was streaming and wireless video. It really took off following the 2008-2009 global credit wipeout. I'm especially proud of this one because I was literally years ahead of most other stock analysts. In 2004, I published that legendary special report. That's when I coined the term SuperNet. That's also when I declared to millions of investors, the old internet is dead. Get ready for windfall profits of 1,000% or more with the all-new, blazingly fast SuperNet. Well, do you think that's a tall promise? Just remember how much profits we actually delivered. The 1,681% that we made on Intuit, nearly 18 times your money. The 3,312% on Ansys, 34 times your money. And the 5,900% on IEH, 60 times your money. That is why investing in new disruptive technologies that utterly transform the economy will be a path to true wealth. The kind of wealth that means you'll never have to worry about money anymore. Now at this point you may be thinking, that history lesson is all well and good, but what does that have to do with me today, right now? Hey, excellent question. And the answer is this. The COVID-19 crisis is a national emergency on a far greater scale than the 9/11 attacks and the 2008-09 debt crisis. New industries that are being created in response to this generational catastrophe are providing investors with profit opportunities that are even more spectacular, even bigger than the profits we saw when Apple introduced the iPhone and Netflix introduced streaming video. In fact, for the first time in history, the entire country is rethinking about how it's going to do business. In the matter of just a few months, our entire economy has changed. Entire industries have been completely shut down. Entirely new ways of working have sprung up. That's never happened before, ever. Even after 9/11, which is the closest recent parallel, we didn't see a change of this magnitude. That means instead of one or two Saving America industries being formed, there are now dozens. Take the most obvious example. Saving America industry number one, COVID-19 vaccines. Since it was first identified in late 2019, the COVID-19 virus has ravaged nearly every country on Earth. 50 million people have been infected worldwide, and the financial impacts have hit over 5 billion people. Entire industries like cruise lines have been obliterated. Many others, including airlines and the $860 billion U.S. restaurant industry, have seen their revenue slashed by 50% or more. No one dares estimate the total damage, and no one knows when it will end. Yet there is one thing we do know, and that everyone agrees about. The COVID-19 vaccines will make a huge difference. No wonder shares of companies developing the vaccines have skyrocketed. Regeneron Pharmaceuticals has already doubled over the past year. Moderna soared from $15.88 a share to over $64 today, a gain of 307%. And Novavax, which is developing a new flu vaccine when COVID-19 hit, now has a COVID drug, and it soared from $4.49 a share to $203, a gain of 2,170%. That's 21 times your money, enough to turn $5,000 into $113,500 in 8 months flat. And this is just beginning. Which pharma companies will be the ultimate winners in the race for the best COVID-19 vaccine? Well, Pfizer was the first to announce a vaccine that's over 90% effective. It's been on our buy list for a long time. In fact, it's already handed investors who acted on our signal a 299% return. But there's a problem. Its vaccine must be stored and transported at deep freeze temperatures of minus 94 degrees Fahrenheit. That's 126 degrees colder than ice. Then that Herculean journey from warehouse to the rolled up sleeve has to be undertaken all over again to deliver the second booster shot a month later. All of this is going to require massive infrastructure investments. Fortunately, the vaccine cavalry is coming to the rescue, including two big companies with century-old profitable businesses, now about to get a tsunami of new business dumped in their laps. One makes cold storage transportation boxes. The other provides the helium and liquid nitrogen to maintain the minus 94 degree temperatures. Who else is going to win this raging vaccine wars? You need an advanced degree in immunology and a crystal ball to figure that one out. But I found one opportunity in particular that will make a freaking fortune no matter who wins the vaccine race. You see, during a typical year, the influenza vaccine requires about 160 million doses for about half the U.S. adult population. Vaccine experts say that the winning COVID vaccine will require at least 2 doses. That means they'll need 320 million syringes to deliver vaccine in the U.S. alone, plus billions more for Europe, Southeast Asia, and Africa, and South America. But governments all over the world have so far failed to order more than a small fraction of the syringes they need to meet that demand. The U.S. government has authorized an enormous grant to one little-known company to massively expand its production facilities. The U.S., Canada, and U.K. have already ordered 305 million syringes from this company. 190 million for the U.S., 75 million for Canada, and 40 million for the U.K. But here's the kicker. The company I'm talking about also makes one of the most reliable, rapid result COVID-19 antigen tests. It's so accurate and so desperately needed that the FDA granted an emergency use authorization after clinical studies showed that the test is 84% accurate. And the airline industry may turn out to be an even bigger customer. You know, airlines simply can't survive without selling that middle seat. What will save the airline industry is an accurate 15-minute COVID testing kit. Get this, 4.4 billion people flew in 2019. That's the size of the potential market for these quickie testing kits. This testing kit is so accurate and so fast that the US government just ordered 750 million of them. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. And this isn't the penny stock I'm talking about. The company has a market cap of 64 billion and annual sales above 16 billion. This company already has a realistic potential of seeing at least 100% gains. Its COVID antibody test alone should drive sales to the stratosphere. I'll give you all the details in my Saving America report, COVID Millionaires Getting Rich from Pandemic Stocks. In it, I give you not one, but 6 reasons why I believe this company will be in the forefront in the battle of COVID-19, plus overwhelming evidence that it could multiply your money several times over. I'll show you how to download your free copy of COVID Millionaires in just a moment. But let me tell you about a brand new Saving America industry that I believe will utterly transform the U.S. economy and make early investors as rich as Midas. New Saving American industry number 2, work at home. I'm talking about the brand new work at home industry, technologies and services that allow millions of employees to work productively from a distance. Some people seem to think that once a COVID-19 vaccine is available, this industry days will be over. Bah, that's crazy. The work-at-home industry was already a big winner before the pandemic, and it will continue after the pandemic is long gone. In fact, most major companies around the world have already announced that they're going to allow, encourage, and even require their workers to rarely or never come back to the office. This is something I know about. You might say that I'm an early adopter. I've lived overseas for many years, and before that in Montana. Yet my main office is at the Weiss Radiant headquarters in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. So I was among the very first in the world to use Zoom, which is now the world's leading video conferencing software. Plus, I was among the first to invest in Zoom. In fact, I recently bagged a profit of $15,000 in Zoom in just one day. It was a 39.7% gain on Zoom in just a single 24-hour period. And that's just one sample of the kinds of profits we're seeing now. So as you can see, we've been hot on the tail of work-at-home technologies for decades, long before the COVID-19 crisis. And I've been diligently pursuing massive work-at-home opportunities with explosive potential for a long, long time. Zoom isn't the only gainer. DocuSign, another one of my recent recommendations, up a whopping 176%. Teladoc is up 131%. Shopify is up 173%. Etsy is up 205%. And Square is up 135%, just to name a few. And one company in particular stands out above the rest, and it's my number 1 pick for cashing in the work-at-home revolution. It's an international technology company based in the U.S. that provides an integrated suite of software solutions for home-based businesses. Sales are going through the roof, and so are the profits. It has $143 billion in revenue. Its earnings have more than doubled in the past 3 years, from $30 to $65 billion. Its industry is disrupting the world, and it's about to dominate its industry. Indeed, the disruptive power of this industry is so large, and this company's opportunity to dominate could be so profitable. I have just written an urgent report that gives you everything you need to know to jump in immediately. It's the work from anywhere revolution, how to cash in on America's newest blockbuster business trend. In a moment, I'll show you how you can download it immediately for free. But first, let me tell you about another huge opportunity emerging in the post-COVID economy. New Saving America industry number 3, drone logistics and delivery. Until recently, most people thought drones were just toys or a nuisance or both. Now they're changing their minds. They see that drones are life-saving tools in the battle against COVID-19. They're one of the best ways to do 2 important things at the same time: get life-saving drugs and other items to your hands quickly, and maintain all the social distance you could possibly ask for. That's why drones are red hot now, and while they'll continue to be in the future. When I think about this amazing turn of events, my mind goes to what my teenage son said to me a few years ago. When I asked him what he wanted for Christmas, he immediately responded, "Give me a drone so I can make $1 million." Well, I did buy him a drone, all right. Did he make $1 million? No, not yet, but he might. But what he did do is create a darn good part-time business selling aerial photographs and video footage to real estate agents in Montana. In fact, he kind of cornered the market for postcard perfect ranches and waterfront property. So imagine what someone with a bit of capital can do, and you'll immediately understand why the demand for unmanned vehicles, whether it's in the air or on the ground, is soaring right now. Pharmacies are using drones to deliver life-saving drugs. Ranchers are using them to keep track of their herds. Search and rescue crews are using drones to locate missing hikers and deliver emergency supplies to disaster-struck areas. Architects are using them to create super accurate 3D renderings. Meteorologists are using drones for real-time weather forecasting, and law enforcement is using them for surveillance. And I haven't even mentioned the biggest market of all, the use of drones for package deliveries. In 2018, total spending for drone equipment and drone services reached $14.1 billion. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. According to the Drone Market Report, the industry is going to triple in size to $43 billion in the next 5 years. Governments and businesses are already jumping in with both feet. In fact, the feds are granting regulatory exemption to fast-track drone adoption as a way to reduce human contact during the pandemic. For example, DHL just started using drones for deliveries in China. Its drones deliver over a 5-mile radius within just 8 minutes, and they can carry up to 5 kilograms of weight per flight. UPS received a FFA certification to operate a drone airline that makes deliveries for commercial, industrial, and medical sectors. Google became the very first delivery drone to get approval by the FAA, which means it was granted the same certification as a small airline craft. Walgreens has partnered with Google to deliver prescription drugs. Why Walgreens? Because its stores are everywhere. In fact, Walgreens has a store within 5 miles of 80% of the entire U.S. population. Amazon has received FFA exemption to test its drone delivery services. But Amazon is not the company I recommend to go for profits in this explosion in drone delivery service. Instead, I recommend a company that is the very center of the entire industry. It serves virtually all the companies now using drone for delivery. It dominates the new industry of drone logistics, the advanced technology that connects the drones to robotic-controlled warehouses. This company virtually owns this market in North America. Who are its largest customers? The answer should come as no surprise. Amazon, FedEx, and Walmart. Heck, the company already has 797 million square feet of warehouse space. They're already in 19 countries on 4 continents. They're already feeding billions of packages to a fleet of drones around the clock. And surprise, surprise, business is absolutely booming. I'll show you exactly what to buy, when, and how in my special free report, Mega Profits from America's New Drone Stocks. You'll discover how drone delivery is going to transform American business, the 5 stocks you should consider right now, and 3 you should avoid at all costs, the companies that will benefit the most from incorporating drones into its shipping options, why our select drone delivery stocks have the potential to make you 10 times your money, and lots more. In just a moment, I'll show you how you can download a copy of this essential investing blueprint for free. Saving America opportunity number 4, contactless payment. If you go to a neighborhood restaurant, a supermarket, or shopping mall, what's the best way to pay for goods and services without touching anything or getting close to a merchant? It's called contactless payment. You can pay from a safe distance with an iPhone or Android phone. You can even pay with a device like an Apple Watch or Fitbit. It's a technology with great life-saving potential, and nearly everyone is jumping on board. Small companies, big companies, and even the U.S. government. Experts say the contactless payment market size was already on track to grow to $18 billion by 2025, and that was before COVID-19. Now the demand for ways to pay with mobile and wearable devices is accelerating big time. McKinsey reports that the total global payments market is worth $2 trillion a year and is growing at a 6% annual rate. And with the corona pandemic, the surge in demand for contactless technology is going to make those huge numbers look small by comparison. Apple is one way to play the contactless payment revolution. It will soon make more money from processing payment transactions from its secure iPhone app than it does from even selling mobile phones. Yet for this opportunity, there are 3 other companies I like even better. One is already the leader in contactless point-of-sale hardware. The other is a brand new company that supports contactless business-to-business transactions. And the third is a traditional payment powerhouse that is moving into the contactless payment industry in a big way. Imagine a company with a market share of an Amazon. Imagine the same company also has the payment flexibility of a PayPal. Plus, on top of that, it has a huge credit portfolio of Visa. Well, you don't have to imagine anymore. The company I'm talking about is here, and it's already on its way to achieving that goal. It's a company with a digital payment app used by millions of consumers and businesses like Visa, MasterCard, and PayPal, and Western Union, all rolled into one. The company's total revenue increased by 59% to $2.3 billion in one quarter alone, and its revenues jumped by 38% to $652 million. Meanwhile, its unique active users grew 31-fold and now number over 43 million. And guess how much growth it saw in its mobile transaction volume? It grew by 198% in just 1 year. Can you imagine that? It tripled in 12 months. And even with that insane growth, the room for more growth is simply boundless. In my fourth special report, Contact Payment Blockbusters, I'll tell you about it and why this could potentially turn into be one of the most profitable investments you've ever seen. We issued our first buy rating on PayPal when it sold for $39.69 a share in 2016. Last I checked, it was selling for over $204 per share. That's a gain of 421%. But the next online payment revolution could be even bigger, and I tell you all about it in Contactless Payment Blockbusters. The disruptor industries and dominator companies I just told you about have the potential to make you millions of dollars. But my Saving America Investing Blueprints, I'll give you even more. Take telemedicine, for example. Telemedicine uses online technologies to perform routine tests and lets you consult with physicians and nurse practitioners at a distance. One analyst projects that telemedicine will be a $17 billion industry by 2026. Key players already include companies such as Medtronic, Teladoc, Cisco, GE Healthcare, and a few others. All in your free copy of my collection of Saving America Investing Blueprints. In this collection, you'll also learn about the burgeoning life extension industry. Did you know that Silicon Valley is investing tens of billions on new technologies to expand life expectancy? For example, one area of research that could make investors fortunes is the development of pills that can neutralize what are called senescent cells. These cells harm the body by secreting compounds that cause inflammation in surrounding tissue. And it just so happens that many age-related conditions, arthritis, diabetes, Alzheimer's, and even cancers, have an inflammatory component. Well, these new studies show that a buildup of senescent cells is a large part of the problem. Most people never heard of this, but I give you all the details in your free investing blueprints. Of course, most people have heard of artificial intelligence, but they don't truly realize how big it's going to be, especially after the COVID-19 pandemic, which creates a huge new demand for AI. Even before anyone knew about this pandemic, AI was projected to grow by 10 times from 5 billion to 50 billion in the next 6 to 8 years. That's an annual growth rate of 35%, or about 15 times the annual growth of the U.S. economy. I presume you've also heard about virtual reality and enhanced reality. They've been around for years. But did you realize how absolutely vital they will be in our new work at home, study at home, play at home world? You can actually visit with friends, join a class, or attend a meeting in three-dimensional form through virtual reality. I know that sounds crazy, but so did my prediction in 2004 that everyone would soon carry around web video phones in which they could communicate via live video. And don't forget about e-learning. It's already exploding. It's the only way many schools all over the world can operate today, and they're also discovering that even without epidemics and pandemics, it's great for millions of students who can't commute or just want to get access to the best possible education from wherever they are in life. I could go on and on. There are literally dozens of new industries that are growing like wildfire right now. Home grocery delivery, home restaurant delivery, online fitness, online counseling, online concerts, even online karaoke parties. All these sectors are going gangbusters right now. Soon I will offer each one of these special reports to the public for $79 each. That's a total value of $316 for the four. But I don't want you to pay a dime for them or wait for them to be released. Today, I'm giving you the opportunity to download them immediately for free. All I ask is that you accept a risk-free test drive of my monthly letter, Disruptors and Dominators, for just a few cents a day. Disruptors and Dominators is your number one source for intelligence on the big breakthrough trends and technologies that are rapidly changing the world as we know it. And even more rapidly than the internet, online shopping, or the smartphone. I'm talking about the world's most truly disruptive industries and the companies that dominate each. In each issue, I'll give you my buy signals for stocks that will dominate and my get the heck out of the way warnings for those who will be dominated. Never forget, if you had acted on my Save America buy signals in the past, you could have made 8 times your money with Bio-Rad, a leader in COVID-19 vaccine research. 10 times your money on CGI, a leading IT consulting company. 14 times your money on Global Payments, a major player behind the boom in online shopping. 15 times your money on Amphenol, which makes the hardware that keeps the entire internet connected. 17 times your money on Thermo Fisher Scientific, one of the largest IT healthcare companies in the world. 22 times your money on Mettler Toledo International, the world's #1 high-tech healthcare company. Or 23 times your money in Cognex Corporation. 26 times your money with Manhattan Associates. 29 times your money with Fair Isaac Corporation. 34 times your money with Ansys. 35 times your money with Tyler Technologies. 60 times your money with IEH, turning every 10,000 invested into an even 600,000, and many, many more. Now, with a complete portfolio of new Saving America stocks that you download with your free 4 reports, you can go for outsized profits investing in the Apples, Nvidias, and Teslas of tomorrow. The way Apple grew from the split-adjusted price of 67 cents a share when we first issued our Save America buy signal, giving investors the opportunity to make 22,185% gains, enough to multiply your money 223 times over. Or the way Amazon has seen its stock shoot up from $54 a share when Weiss Ratings first recommended it to $3,451, a gain of 6,248%. Or the way Netflix grew from $5.26 a share when we first recommended it to $529 today, a gain of 9,951%, or more than 100 times your money. Nowhere else can you even dream of gains like these. But this is what is possible with disruptor industries and the companies that dominate them. And with Disruptors and Dominators, I show you how to cash in and go for profits step by step, month after month. There are so many more opportunities, it's impossible to cover them in the time we have today. That's why I've arranged a way for you to not only download my complete 4 Saving America special reports on these brand new disruptive industries, but also get a risk-free test drive with my monthly investing service, Disruptors and Dominators. Download your 4 free reports now. Take a full year of Disruptors and Dominators. Then if you're ever dissatisfied with Disruptors and Dominators for any reason, right up to the last day of your subscription, simply let us know and we'll happily refund you every penny of your small membership cost. Plus, you can keep all 4 of my free reports and all of your monthly issues as my gift, my thank you for giving Disruptors and Dominators a try. You won't find an opportunity like this very often. So click below now, then take a full year to try out Disruptors and Dominators for just a few pennies a day. If you're not happy for any reason whatsoever, just let us know anytime between today and 1 year from now, and we'll be glad to send you a 100% refund.